radio station since 1949. We are WRMN AM 1410, Elgin time, 8 o'clock.
Here at WRMN Radio, we try to connect with the community and discuss important issues, like our current mental health crisis. Here's Lori Baker, President and CEO of AID.
I think most people, when they see young children thinking about suicide at the ages of 5 and 6 and 7, I mean, that's shocking to me. Even know that they want to harm themselves somehow. I know it's difficult. I definitely feel the pinch. We all feel the pinch at the gas pump, at the grocery store, right, in our rents. But I think most people could handle 27 cents a day to help kids and seniors and people experiencing homelessness.
Discussions like this take place on the first shift, weekday mornings from 6 to 10, right here on WRMN AM 1410 and WRMN 1410 Radio on Facebook.
Good morning. You're listening to AM 1410 WRMN, and this is On the Rise with your hosts, Derrick Geyer and Mike Napolitano. How you doing, Mike?
Pretty good. How about you?
Oh, much better since I could actually hear you.
Yeah, we are ready to go here, and I am really surprised at some of the decisions that the White Sox are starting to make. What's new?
Wait. We're starting this fine Saturday morning with talking about the White Sox?
I need to get my anger out of the way.
No, man. You know, this is supposed to be a happy show, a good show, an on the rise show for everyone listening this fine Saturday morning.
Well, we can start then with the good news and what is on the rise with the MLB awards coming out.
Okay,
we're still on topic, but
I'll take that over the Chicago White Sox.
We'll talk about the winners.
Okay, let's talk about the winners.
The MVP awards. I don't think there was any doubt who was taking home the American League and National League titles in this category.
Wait, Freddie Freeman? National League?
Actually, yeah, it's a
same
good
team.
Good pick.
Yeah, well, he didn't go 50-50 this year.
Yeah, it was Shohei Ohtani for the National League side of things. Of course, his 50 home run, 50 steal season. He also had a slash line of 310, 390, and 646, becoming the first full-time DH to earn the award. That's pretty incredible. It was a unanimous vote as well for him.
Yeah, that's not really shocking.
No, not at all. On the American League side of things.
Hold on.
Oh.
All rise for the Honorable Aaron Judge.
That's his second unanimous AL MVP.
Is that the first time that's ever happened? You know, two unanimous.
You know, I don't know. I did not look up that stat. I'll have to bring that for next week's show. That's a good point.
Sorry, my bad.
But
toss you under the bus like that.
No. That's fine. That's actually a good point. I would have to double check that and see. I know it was, like I said, a toss up that these two were going to win this award on each side because these two had been electric all year. Of course, they both brought their teams to the World Series. I don't think there was really anybody else in the conversation. I mean, like you said, a couple players, maybe Freddie Freeman for the Dodgers, but we're not talking about not ML.
Yeah, he wasn't even
MVP
close,
awards for the playoffs. We're talking the entire season.
Yeah, the entire 162.
It wasn't even close.
No.
This was Judge's, as I said, second AL MVP 3 years after he hit 58 home runs, had 144 RBIs, and had a .458 on-base percentage and a .701 slugging percentage.
I don't know. Is that 458 a good on-base percentage?
I'd say.
Jeez.
That is phenomenal. Now let's switch things over to the defensive side of things. You have the Cy Young Award winners, and this is where I don't get my anger out. My heart is happy because the National League Cy Young Award winner for 2024.
Wait, hold on. Is there going to be a yard sale coming up?
Very good. veteran lefty Chris Sale, who is the 5th player to have won his first Cy Young Award after turning 35. That's incredible. That's a late bloomer. I really shouldn't say that because Chris Sale was dominant early on in his career with the White Sox. Had a decent couple of years with the Red Sox. Of course, he was on the mound when the Red Sox won that 2018 World Series.
Yeah.
He was used as more of a reliever in the bullpen, kind of a closer position for them. So finally gets his ring, finally gets his Cy Young Award. I am happy with that. He went 18-3 this year. That was a career high for him with an MLB best 2.38 ERA and NL best 225 strikeouts in 177 2/3 innings. That's insane for a 35-year-old.
Yeah, kind of hard to think that the White Sox gave up on him.
I said I wasn't going to be angry, Derrick.
Oh, sorry. I guess I just wanted to poke the mic a little bit.
That's fine. I'm grateful that he did get a chance to go out and do all this stuff, though, because it wouldn't have been with Chicago. He wouldn't have won a Cy Young. Look at even a guy like Dylan Cease when he was in Chicago was second in voting for the Cy Young when he got robbed that year. I think he really should have won the AL Cy Young. But even when White Sox players have good years,
let it out, Mike.
They struggle because of the team around them, the organization around them, or just the fact that they are kind of seen as the unwanted, redheaded, I guess, the termination.
Get over yourself.
Stepchild, but
no, yeah, you're pretty accurate on that.
Nobody wants to vote for the White Sox, which I understand it, but it's not right.
Well, I mean, even ESPN seemed to have forgotten about that 2005 World Series.
Yep. And the voters will forget quickly about a Dylan Cease or a Chris Sale unless they are on another team. Unless the White Sox go and win the World Series in the same year. Then all of a sudden we're looking at them like they are Mark Burley.
And then it's the new toy that you got at Christmas time.
Yep. Yeah. And as soon as the next year starts, toss it to the wayside. I'm done playing with you like Andy does to Woody and Buzz,
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Well, they're not going to forget about the White Sox anytime soon because, I mean, to follow up the league's worst season.
Yeah.
Because you know that they're not going to improve by 20 games next year.
Oh, absolutely not.
And that still means a 100-game loss.
This is going to be a cellar-dweller team for maybe close to a decade here.
Ooh, see, I was a little bit more optimistic than you, but
no, I've been a White Sox fan long enough. I
was going to put it at 4 or 5 years.
I hope for my sanity and for the fact that Chicago needs a team, but I wouldn't put my money on that team being the White Sox.
If it makes you feel any better, I don't think the North Side's going to be any better.
No,
I mean, they're not going to lose 100 games.
Right, but they're not. I don't see them making playoffs again this year. I think I
honestly
in that same
think
boat.
They're part of the reason, other than me always wearing this hat, that my hair is falling out because they seem to start off pretty well, start off good, and then they go through the month or two of, oh my God, what the hell kind of baseball is that?
I have a hat on too, but I haven't started losing my hair. But if I do,
you're still young and viral.
If it starts thinning, I have a couple white strands that occasionally pop up, which
now is that because of the Bears this past couple of weeks?
It's about one strand is for the Bears, one strand is for the Blackhawks, one strand is for the White Sox. But if I start losing my hair of those teams, it's the White Sox.
It's the White Sox.
Oh, I forgot the Bulls. They give me stress as well. They give me agita, as Italians would say.
I thought that was all of your quote unquote gravy that you'd be eating.
Yes.
All the heartburn and everything that you get. Do we even want to talk about the Bears?
No, absolutely not. They're a disgrace of a franchise, and we will leave all of that to Marcus.
Okay, fair enough.
But we can talk about the Lions and Tigers, oh my, because the Bears are going to have to play the Lions on Thanksgiving. So it is going to be a busy next couple of days for this Bears team. Of course, they have the matchup first against the Vikings on Sunday. That's tomorrow. But then they will have to lose to Detroit on Thanksgiving in Detroit. What a tradition. But I did say we would talk about the Tigers, too. Switching over to the AL Cy Young Award winner. Yeah. That is Derrick Skubal of your Detroit Tigers. No, I guess not your Detroit Tigers, but the Detroit Tigers. He had an 18-4 record. He had 228 strikeouts in 192 innings pitched with a 2.39 ERA. That is the league best, which means he won the Triple Crown for strikeouts, I believe, ERA. And I'm actually not sure what the third category is for the pitching Triple Crown. Could be whip, but I don't have that listed here. Now, let's head over to the Rookie of the Year awards. Luis Gil becomes the AL Rookie of the Year, another Yankee, so no surprise there either, helping his team on the mound.
Seems like they were having a decent year this year.
Yeah. I mean, they came ever so close to winning the World Series if it wasn't for a juggernaut of a Dodgers team on the other side. I think it would have been the Yankees' time once again. I'm not really crying, but it's fine. National League side of things, the NL Rookie of the Year is Paul Skeens. I don't think this one was a surprise either.
That was Rookie of the Year?
Rookie of the Year. He went 11-3 with a 1.96 ERA and 170 strikeouts for this rookie. The talk all year was about Skeens, how hard he throws, how accurate his fastball is. And, of course, he was drafted first overall, so all eyes were on him, and he did not disappoint. There were a couple other names that could have been in the running for this NL Rookie of the Year award, but I think at the end of the day, people are only going to remember Skeens, and that's why this was my pick as well. I don't think it was unanimous here. It's not listed as unanimous, but I think that this was a no-brainer as well.
Yeah, as a pitcher for the Pirates, he definitely put it to the Cubs. Well, actually, the Cubs did pretty good against him.
They did have one good game.
Recollection, and maybe that's what I'm clinging on to right now.
Was that the combined no-hitter? Or was that the game before or after?
I think that was the game before or after that.
Okay.
I'm not really sure, but I mean, he's definitely I mean, when the guy averages close to 98, 99, 100 miles an hour, and he's throwing with absolute ease, I mean, the dude's electric. Dude's fun to watch. He's the only reason why I would actually watch Pittsburgh Pirates play. But that would be that would just be because, I mean, he's playing the Cubs.
Yeah.
I'm not going out of my way unless he's on like a national broadcast. I'm not lucky enough to have the MLB package or whatever to, go out and do that.
Manager of the Year awards, we'll breeze through this kind of quick. It was the Guardians' Stephen Vogt, who was the AL Manager of the Year. NL side of things was Pat Murphy of the Brewers, 93-win season for them. The Aaron Awards, the Hank Aaron Awards, went to Shohei Ohtani and Aaron Judge. No surprise there. The Roberto Clemente Award for recognition of extraordinary efforts to build healthy and active communities. That went to Royals captain Salvador Perez. This is bestowed annually, of course, to the player who best represents the game of baseball through extraordinary character, community involvement, philanthropy, and positive contributions both on and off the field. So congratulations to Salvi. I'm not really going to take too much time on these Gold Glove Awards and Silver Slugger Awards because we have to get to some other things. There's also, a number of deeper awards in here. We've kind of went through the postseason awards as we were covering those teams. Dodgers veteran Freddie Freeman gets the World Series MVP. It was Tommy Edman who won NLCS MVP, and Giancarlo Stanton was the ALCS MVP. Comeback players. There was a White Sox listed here. It was Garrett Crochet, AL Comeback Player of the Year. Chris Sale, former White Sox, was the NL counterpart. Outstanding Designated Hitter Award. I don't think that's a surprise when he's also winning NL MVP. It was Shohei Ohtani. And Relievers of the Year, Guardians closer Emmanuel Clase won the AL side of things. Cardinals Ryan Helsley won the NL side of things. Executive of the Year, GM Matt Arnold of the Milwaukee Brewers. And then, of course, let's get to the Gold Glove Awards. Catcher Cal Riley, from the Mariners, Carlos Santana of the Twins for first base, Andres Jimenez of the Guardians at second base, Alex Bregman of the Astros at third base, Bobby Witt Jr. of the Royals at shortstop, Stephen Kwan in left field for the Guardians, Dalton Varsho for the Blue Jays in center field, Weiler Abreu for the Red Sox in right field, Seth Lugo, pitcher of the Royals, utility player Dylan Moore of the Mariners, and the overall team, the Blue Jays. Platinum Glove Award went to Cal Riley. And then on the NL side of things, it was Patrick Bailey of the San Francisco Giants, Christian Walker of the Diamondbacks, Bryce Terang of the Brewers, Ezekiel Tovar of the Rockies, and Matt Chapman of the Giants. That rounds out your infield. In the outfield, Ian Happ of the Chicago Cubs. In left field, Brett Doyle of the Colorado Rockies, Sal Frelick of the Brewers, pitcher Chris Sale of the Braves, taking home a lot of awards this year. Utility player Jared Trillo of the Pirates, and the Milwaukee Brewers took it home as a team. Bryce Terang also won the Platinum Glove Awards.
Was there a second baseman in there?
Yes, that was Bryce Terang, who also took home
that was Terang?
Yeah,
okay.
Who also took the Platinum Glove.
I'm going to go back on my soapbox for a little bit. I still don't have absolutely no idea how Nico Horner did not win the Gold Glove, considering that he was leading 3 of the 4 defensive metrics, with that. But I digress. I'm off my soapbox. We are going to move into some high school football, considering that it is playoff time. So let's see. We've got Class 1A football brackets. The quarterfinals of last week were Leroy 37 over Galena 21. We've got Lana Winslow 40 over Gibson City 7. So they are going to be, let's see. It is going to be Leroy and Lana matching up today at 2:00 at Leroy. They're going, that's going into the semifinals to see who goes on to the state championship. Then at the other bracket, we've got Belleville Catholic, or at Half Catholic, 54, Casey Westfield 7. So Belleville will be going on to the state or actually the quarterfinal. Semifinals, my bad.
I was going to say, when we did this a week ago, I'm pretty sure that they're wrapping things up right after the holiday.
Right after.
Holiday.
But this is to see who's actually like going into the state championship. So we've got Hardin of Calhoun, got beat by Camp Point Central, 16-7. So that will be Belleville at Hoff Catholic going up against Camp Point to see who goes on to take the winner of the previously mentioned. Then let's see. We've got moving on to the 2A. Farmington defeated Dwight Gardner 42-7. Then we have also got Palos Heights of Chicago Christian defeating Bismarck 34-13. Farmington will be going on, and they will be playing Palos Heights today at 2 p.m. To see who goes on to the state championship. Then we've also got Johnston City defeating Pana 28-13. And we've also got Moreau squeaking by Quincy of Notre Dame 22-21. So Johnson City will be taking on Monroe at 3:30 this afternoon. Both those winners will actually, be going on next week for this upcoming week for the state championship. Moving on to the 3A bracket quarterfinals, Lombard defeated Princeton 24-7, and we've got Wilmington defeating I have absolutely no idea how to say that. Picantencia or something.
Your guess is as good as mine. That's probably Southern Illinois.
Yeah, I'm thinking so.
I've never heard of that.
But Wilmington defeated them 22-13. So put me out of my misery for saying that school's name. Sorry, guys. Tolono defeated Nashville 47-24.
There's a Nashville, Illinois.
Apparently,
did not know that.
I had absolutely no idea.
I think you're speaking another language over here with some of these.
I don't know. This is
no
like getting my
offense to those
tongue-tied.
schools, but
Yeah,
at least you guys have good football. I have never heard of you.
yeah. Monticello defeated Benton 27-26. So that had to be a heartbreaker.
Yeah.
So this afternoon we've got
Sounds like a game that I know for Chicago.
Yeah. We've got Lombard going up against Wilmington at 1 p.m. in Lombard, pretty close to around here. Tolono will be going up against Monticello at 2 p.m. at Monticello. That concludes the 3A bracket. Then we got 4A, or maybe not.
No 4A games?
Oh, I don't know.
There's got to be some, right?
Well, there are. It just, I don't know. For some reason, it clicked on a map.
Oh.
It went to a map when I clicked on the standings and everything. So for the quarterfinals, DePaul of Chicago beat Burbank 26-14. Then we've got Coal City edging out Dixon 20-13. So we've got Chicago, DePaul, and Coal City facing off in Coal City at 1 o'clock today. Then we've got, for the other bracket, we've got Mount Zion defeating Breese 17-3. We've got Normal defeating Cahokia 31-12. Sorry if I'm butchering it, but it kind of is what it is at this point. So we've got Mount Zion going up against Normal at 7 o'clock tonight. Let's see, moving on to 5A.
Normal, they're kind of the home team for a lot of this.
Yeah, they are.
No matter what, because the championships are held down there.
Yeah.
They're going to kind of get the home field advantage, even if they're not playing at their actual high school field. They'll be playing right there on Illinois State University's campus, and I'm sure it's not too far of a drive. So
yeah, and let's see, we've got Wheaton defeating Sycamore, so that was a number 4 seed beating the number 1, 10-0. They move on to the semifinals. We've also got LaGrange Park, Nazareth Academy defeating Rochelle 42-8.
Naz.
So let's see, we've got Wheaton, St. Francis going up against LaGrange Park, Nazareth at 1 p.m. at, it looks like, Nazareth Academy.
Nazareth, yeah.
Then we've got Morris defeating Chicago Morgan Park 21-7. Joliet Catholic Academy, which, I mean, they've always been seems to be a perennial powerhouse, defeated Peoria 43-8. So that matchup today will be Joliet versus Joliet Catholic Academy going up against Morris today at 2 p.m. at, doesn't say.
At Morris?
Doesn't say.
Okay.
I don't know. I could only read as much as I can read here. And apparently not very well at that. But 6A bracket. Cary defeats Belvedere 42-7. Lake Forest loses to Geneva 49-14. So we've got Cary of Grove going up against Geneva today at 1 o'clock in Geneva. Oh, that's right down the block. No, not really.
Basically. It's not too far of a drive from here.
Geneva, Batavia.
Geneva, Batavia right here, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Kane County Cougars. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
So then we got East St. Louis defeating Chatham 58-14. We've also got Oak Lawn Richards 21 over Kankakee 20. So we've got East St. Louis going up against Oak Lawn at 2 p.m. today in East St. Louis, I think. Let's see, number 7.
We wrapped up there. Oh, no, we got a couple more.
No, we got 7A, 7, and 8. New Lenox over Bradley, 28-16. Batavia over Downers Grove, 17-7. We've got Chicago St. Rita over Quincy, 49-14. Chicago Mount Carmel, 49 over Normal, 42. So you got the Chicago St. Rita, Chicago Mount Carmel today at 3 p.m. at St. Rita. We've also got.
Yeah, we have a couple more, but I think we're going to come back and give you the rest of that pretty soon.
Locations in
Right here on WRMN AM 1410.
Free party rooms are available too. Visit Garibaldi's.com today.
Bender Dental Care, located at 217 North McLean Boulevard in Elgin. Bender Dental wants everyone to be informed, appreciated, and cared for at all times. To prove it, they now offer a new patient exam for just $29. That includes consult, x-ray, exam, and cleaning. Let Bender Dental help you have healthy teeth and gums for a lifetime. Located at 217 North McLean Boulevard in Elgin. Visit benderdentalcare.com.
For local information and fun times in the mornings, listen to Marky B and Larry Jones on the first shift.
Maybe we need to get a radio intern in to help you.
Maybe so.
Somebody that you won't have to pay and you can treat them tough.
I can haze them.
You can't haze. You'll get fired. Remember that guy from Northwestern?
Yeah.
Gone.
Did he really do it?
You don't have to really do it. If somebody says you did,
yeah,
good enough. Maybe I'm going to accuse you of hazing me. I don't have to prove it.
It's the first shift, weekdays from 6 to 10 a.m. right here on WRMN. For local information and fun times in the mornings, listen to Marky B and Larry Jones on the first shift.
And when it's like Christmas time and Thanksgiving time, Brian has these little competitions. People ring up and they gobble like a turkey, and whoever gets the most votes for the best gobble off, they win a turkey for Thanksgiving.
Really? That's a great idea. That's a great radio contest. Derrick has given us some great ideas here.
That's
Larry.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the first shift, weekdays from 6 to 10 a.m. right here on WRMN.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone, and should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your Senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 800-699-9043.
There's a hidden gem in Elgin's South End. It harkens back to the days when going to a diner with family and friends was where everybody gathered for a delicious breakfast or lunch. Ray's Family Restaurant at 801 St. Charles Street in Elgin is a diner that you'll love with tasty food. The atmosphere of the staff are friendly and fast. They're open until 3 p.m. daily. You can never go wrong with Ray's. Visit raysfamilyrestaurant.com. That's raysfamilyrestaurant.com.
Want to read some action-packed, exciting pulp fiction? Read the works of Michael Tooman, now featuring the international crime thriller, I Married a Bot Madam. Available on Amazon in hardcover, paperback, and Kindle editions. The paperback is also available at other book retailers. Check out Michael Tooman's webpage at Scilink.net. That's Papa, Sierra, Yankee, Lima, India, November, Kilo, dot, November, Echo, Tango.
And you are listening to AM 1410 WRMN on the Rise with Derrick Geyer and Mike Napolitano. So since I blew past that break, I'm not exactly sure how much I got in there, but going back to the 7A football brackets for high school, we've got New Lenox defeating Bradley 28-16. Batavia downs Downers Grove 17-7. Let's see. We've also got Chicago St. Rita defeating Quincy 49-14. Chicago Mount Carmel defeating Normal 49-42. So we've got the matchups for the semifinals going on today. We've got St. Rita taking out Mount Carmel at 3 p.m. this afternoon at St. Rita. Then we've also got New Lenox taking on Batavia at Lincoln Way Central at 5 p.m. Going on to the 8A bracket. Quarterfinals last week. Frankfurt, Lincoln Way East defeated Lincolnshire Stevenson 45-0. Wilmette, Loyola Academy, Downs, Park Ridge, Maine South 35-14. Sorry to mush you, Maine South. Then we've also got Naperville Central defeating LaGrange 24-7. Elmhurst, Downs, Gurnee 34-15. Matchups today will be Elmhurst taking on Naperville at Naperville Central at 6 p.m. We've also got Frankfurt, Lincoln Way East taking on Wilmette Loyola Academy at Frankfurt at Lincoln Way East at 6 p.m. And that will conclude the high school wrap-up. What do you want to talk about next, Mike? We're going to go into Hawks. We're going to go into Wolves or Ice Hogs.
We're going to start out.
Bedard.
We're going to start out with the Blackhawks, but we're going to do most of our hockey talk before we get into some boxing and some basketball, because we will be having Tony Lopez, join the show at 9 o'clock. So stay tuned with us for that. We're going to be mostly talking about the recap of that Mike Tyson-Jake Paul fight from his perspective, anything that's upcoming for his podcast, The Parlay with Kendall Gill. And then, of course, Tilo is a Bulls fan, so I need to know how he's coping with this subpar to mediocre team as well. And then we have some Windy City Bulls talk as well. If we get to some of that beforehand, hopefully we can give you at least the recap before we get Tilo's thoughts on that. And we'll mostly talk his side of things. But let's just jump right into the hockey. The Blackhawks lost to the Vancouver Canucks 4-1 after Derrick and I jumped off the microphones last week. And it was not a great showing for this Hawks team. They did have a lead from the Ilya Mikheyev goal against his former team, but Seth Jones was out of this game with a right foot injury. It was announced a couple hours before the game, and then the Canucks potted 2 empty net goals towards the end in order to take home this one. If you remember, Connor Bedard was injured last year with that broken jaw, so he didn't actually get to have a homecoming game to his native town of Vancouver and face the Canucks. So this was his hometown game, and he actually spoke to the media about how he had a bunch of tickets he had to buy, and he was actually paying to play for a night.
Pride of North Vancouver, Connor Bedard, is with us on the occasion of his homecoming game. You missed the Hawks game here last year in your rookie season because of the broken jaw. So this was your first NHL game in your hometown. It did not go as you'd hoped, obviously, and those things happen. But what was your sense of anticipation for it?
I mean, for me, in the end, it's another game. But I think just getting to come home and kind of spend some time with family, and I think for them, it's what really matters. They did as much to get me here as I did myself, and for them to get to kind of celebrate that and see me play in my hometown, and I think it was a cool night for them, and I'm happy that I got to have some people here.
How many tickets did you have to buy?
Not crazy, really. I think around 15 or something. I've seen some wild homecomings with tickets, so I got decently lucky, I think.
Well, the count we got from the Hawks was actually 19 or 20.
Oh, was it?
They say that NHL games on the road in your hometown are the ones you play for free.
Yeah.
Feel that way?
Yeah, I mean, it's worth it in the end, but it's kind of funny for sure. Some of the guys kind of joking about it and stuff that you're playing for free or you're paying to play or whatever. So, but it's good. It's worth it, obviously, with the people you're buying them for.
And that was Connor Bedard on After Hours Sportsnet with host Scott Oak.
The Blackhawks fall in Vancouver. They come back home to face a 7-8-2 Ducks team, and you would think that the losing streak would be snapped for this Chicago team, especially because Jason Dickinson was your number one star of the game with both Chicago goals, and Connor Bedard had 2 primary assists, taking home the 3rd star spot of the game. But it was Alex Killorn, who had 1 goal, 1 assist for the Ducks, who took home the honors for the 2nd star of the game. And the Ducks come away with a 3-2 victory Tuesday night in the United Center. Not the game that the Blackhawks were looking to have, especially against a weaker Ducks team that has struggled. Of course, they have a better record than the Hawks, but not quite a playoff team just yet. So the only good news from Tuesday, other than the event I was at, and maybe we'll get to that a little bit later, I'm not sure if we'll have time, but was that the Winter Classic jerseys were released. And yes, they were the ones that were leaked a couple of months ago that everybody was anticipating. The red Winter Classic jersey, that's why I'm wearing this one. It's red with a very similar Chicago Blackhawks crest. It is not a retro logo. It is the regular logo, which I thought was actually a nice touch. I think we've had enough retro logos on outdoor sweaters for a while. But the striping that would normally be on the bottom of the jersey is now in the background of the crest. Then the tomahawks are down on the elbows. The numbers are up on the shoulders. Those are some really nice jerseys on the back because they're playing at Wrigley. Of the red jerseys, there's a cream-colored patching style for the numbers that have basically like thin baseball pinstripes coming down the numbers, which is cool. It's a subtle touch, but if you look closely, it's there. And then the patch on the shoulder, you could see the patch. Where am I at here? On this one, it was the original Wrigley Field Winter Classic patch. I do actually...
For those of you that are not watching on our YouTube live stream, Mike is actually holding up the patch.
Yeah, turn your TV on, folks.
Yeah.
Get us on the YouTube stream because you'll get the chance to see the old jerseys that you've probably seen a million times now since 2009. I like this patch, but the one that they did this year has a lot more of the brick and the ivy in it. And even as a White Sox fan, I like it, especially on the red jersey. I think it really pops. So it is a nice touch, and I am excited to see that game.
I kind of like the touch of the tomahawk on the sleeve because when they go in the corners and they're going up against the St. Louis Blues guys, you know, they could just tomahawk them.
Yeah. Don't get an elbowing charge, though. Then you'll be in the box for 2 minutes.
Just do it on the sly.
This Winter Classic will take place at 4 p.m. on Tuesday, December 31st. That is New Year's Eve, not New Year's Day. A little bit of a change this year. It'll be at Wrigley Field against the St. Louis Blues. This is, of course, the second game at Wrigley. The first one was back on January 1st, 2009 against the Detroit Red Wings. Blackhawks lost that one 6-4. So hopefully the Blackhawks can finally win a Winter Classic. They've won one outdoor game, and that was at Soldier Field, but that was a a Stadium Series game. So it'll be a little different. Thursday night, the Blackhawks saw the defending Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers come to town. The Panthers, though, were 1-3-0 in their last 4 games. And then the Blackhawks took it to them in this one. That was a 3-1 victory. So that was a great showing from the Blackhawks. We do have some highlights from that game. So
Classic walks the line, pulls it back out high midway through this man advantage in the first few minutes for Chicago. Teravainen with space, worked it down for Bertuzzi, rebound, score! Teuvo Teravainen starts the scoring on the power play. Picked up by Foligno, turning away from Schmidt, moved along by Maroon, Smith,
to get the pass from Maroon. Watch Foligno protect the puck here from Nate Schmidt. That buys time to get the puck to Maroon. Maroon's got his head up, and he finds Craig Smith. Smith fakes it to the forehand and gets this up over the elbow of Spencer Knight. The 3 veterans combined. The Blackhawks a 2-0 lead.
Hanging on top of the Panthers, Mikheyev tried to jab it out, and he did, with Verhaeghe back to retrieve. Approaching the final minute in the third. Risky pass. They score! Foligno reached in front of Ekblad to make it a 2-goal lead.
And that was courtesy of NHL.com.
So a surprising win for the Blackhawks. They don't get the home win against the Ducks, but they do it against the defending champion Florida Panthers. At least the losing streak is snapped. The Blackhawks are now 7-12-1 with 15 points. That's still last in the league, and they are 3-5-0 at home, so not a great home record still. But Bedard did set a record for being the 4th Blackhawk in history to record 50 assists as a teenager, with those 2 primary assists he had on the Jason Dickinson goals on Tuesday night. He's 19 years old.
He's 19. When's he going to be 20? Okay, never mind.
Don't know his birthday off the top of my head. But I know he was drafted at 18, so that would mean by June of next year he would be 20.
Okay.
So still a little bit of time for him to set a couple.
Still the rest of the
awards.
season.
Yeah. Seth Jones is still out on injured reserve with that right foot injury. Jason Dickinson is also listed day-to-day after that Tuesday night game. Andreas Athanasiou is out. I believe that is on the Rockford level of things. And still no Laurent Brossoit for the Blackhawks. But today they have a game at noon on NHL Network against the Philadelphia Flyers. So you might actually be able to watch that game because the NHL Network should be a nationally televised channel. Wednesday, we'll be back at the United Center at 7:30 p.m. to face the Dallas Stars on ESPN+. And Friday, we'll be on the road in Minnesota. It's a weird 1 p.m. Friday start on ESPN+. Let's switch it over and look at the AHL side of things. Sunday was a matchup, a rivalry matchup at Allstate Arena. That was the Rockford IceHogs versus the Chicago Wolves. But as soon as they hit the ice and the goals started coming in, it was less of a rivalry and more of a blowout. The Chicago Wolves take this one 4-0 with goals in the first, 2 in the second, and 1 in the third. They go 2 for 7 on the power play. Rockford goes 0 for 5 on the power play, but Chicago sees goals from Seeley, Heimo Salmi, and Noel Gunler, as well as Scott Brindamore. I believe we have some audio from this game as well, so let's enjoy some of the highlights from this Chicagoland rivalry.
Robida put it to the net. A bobble off of Weeks. Felix Ungersorum to Ronan Seeley. Lets it go. He scores! And the Wolves open up the scoring with 3 minutes left in the first. Ronan Seeley. Heimo Salmi up top. Heimo Salmi rips it on net. He scores! A little Powder River from the point, and the Wolves lead 2-0. Justin Robida working it free. Yaska to Fensori. Suzuki. And Yaska in tight. Robida tip. Rebound. They score! Noel Gunler. And the Wolves lead 3-0. Out in front. A tip by Brendamore. He scores. Morrow saw him, and he put the puck right in the blade for Brendamore. And the Wolves hit Peter for the second time today on the man advantage.
And that was courtesy of FlowHockey.com, and you were listening to the voice of the Chicago Wolves, Jason Shaver, along with color analyst Bill Gardner.
So a win at home for this Chicago Wolves team that has kind of struggled this season. They are now 5-7-1-0. Rockford 5-8-0-0. So both teams kind of in the same boat. But Tuesday, back at the BMO Center, the Rockford IceHogs got back to their winning ways with a 5-2 victory over the Texas Stars. You had 2 goals from Frank Nazar, 2 goals from Colton Dock, and 1 from Marcel to kind of cap things off in the third. So a huge scoring effort from a lot of future Blackhawks, potentially. So a good showing for Rockford.
But I would also be remiss going back to that Saturday game against the Wolves and the IceHogs, because the goaltender Tokarski, he actually had a shutout in that game. And,
yes. Oh, yes.
And he had a PTO offer from the Wolves on the 3rd of November. So that was his first start of the season for the Wolves. And he pitched a 29-save shutout for his 29th shutout of his AHL career.
That is a great stat and a great storyline for a goaltender who, like Derrick said, is trying to break through and get that PTO and join an AHL team. I mean, you walk right in basically, and next thing you know, you're posting shutouts. So that is phenomenal.
And judging by his age and everything, he's mid-30s, 33, 35, somewhere in there. And he has seen time in the show, but he's always been, the backup goaltender.
Right.
He's dominated in the AHL.
Absolutely. Let's wrap up Rockford here with that 2-1 win over Texas last night. Frank Nazar gets a nice cross-ice feed from Brett Cini and collects his 4th goal in his last 3 games. Gary Mayhew doubled the lead, and Antonio Stranges of Texas extended his point streak to 6 games with a goal, but it was Rockford who gets the last laugh. Drew Comesso, their goaltender, has 27 saves, only 1 goal against in this one. So a wrap-up of a decent week here for Rockford. Their future games tonight at 7 p.m. at HEB Center at Cedar Park in Cedar Park, Texas, to face the Texas Stars again, back-to-back. Next Friday night, November 29th, they will be back home. It'll be Rockford versus Chicago again at the BMO Center in Rockford. That is a hat giveaway by a local artist, Abigail Pixler. So the first 1,500 fans will get a hat. It's also $2 beer and soft drinks night presented by La Monica Beverages with media partner 104.9 The X. And it is Screw City night presented by Hennig with media partners. Screw City. So Rockford calls themselves Screw City.
Oh, right, because of the production of screws.
Yeah, and also, we were talking about jerseys already. If you've seen these Screw City jerseys, they're all black.
Badass.
They are very cool.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Those are like some of the coolest jerseys that I've seen in I don't know how long.
So I'm hoping they are wearing them that night, considering it is Screw City night, because I will be in attendance to hopefully be on behalf of WRMN, shake some hands, and have some interesting things coming on the way for you. That's
Get on TV.
Courtesy, maybe. That's courtesy of my friend Cody Tomeyer. So thanks, Cody, and we will see what next Friday brings into our show next Saturday. Speaking of next Saturday, that will wrap up the week for the Ice Hogs. They will be at UW Milwaukee Panther Arena in Milwaukee to face the Admirals at 6 p.m. Let's quickly transition. The Wolves had a quick week. We already talked about the game against Rockford, so we're having to do double duty there. The Wolves continued with a Saturday matchup this was before the Sunday game in Rockford. That was at home against the Manitoba Moose. Unfortunately, the Wolves dropped this one 5-3. They had a goal in each period, but the Moose had one in each period and 2 in the second, 2 in the third. Both teams score once on the power play. Moose go 1 for 2. Wolves go 1 for 5. Chicago gets goals from Bradley Nadeau, Josiah Slavin, and Jaska. Then Thursday, the Wolves went to Manitoba in order to face the Moose. This one was in the Wolves' favor. That was a 5-0, another shutout for this Wolves team. They had goals from Jaska, Nadeau, Trikozov. It's a new name for me. We'll have to ask Hannah about that one. Noel Gunler, and again from Josiah Slavin. So spreading the wealth for this Wolves team as they get 2 in the first, 1 in the second, and 2 in the third. They still go 1 for 7 on the power play, but of course they hold Manitoba to a shutout, 0 for 3 for the Moose on their power play, and another win for this Chicago team. Future games. That is today at 2 p.m. at Canada Life Center in Winnipeg to face the Manitoba Moose again. Next Friday night, of course, is that Rockford versus Chicago matchup at BMO Center in Rockford. And then back home next Saturday after another edition of On the Rise, the Chicago Wolves will take on the Grand Rapids Griffins. That is Adopt a Dog night, Rubik's Cube night, which means there is a Rubik's Cube giveaway, 1980s themed night, and a post-game skate. So plenty to do for Wolves fans in that one.
I'm tired of, I'm tired just listening to you speak about all those things going on that night.
You can also give the gift of Wolves hockey holiday gift packs. Available. You get 10 ticket vouchers for any regular season home games of your choice, a Wolves knit hat, and a Wolves Sherpa blanket, which actually looks really warm and really comfortable. I might be jumping on this myself. But that is all I have for...
That didn't sound weird at all.
What?
Never mind. You're going to be jumping on... Never mind.
That I want a Wolves blanket? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's getting cold out here, folks. We already got our first snow of the season.
Hey, just be happy that it was this past week and not earlier when, Halloween and all that shiatsu was going on.
That's true. I still have to build my backyard rink, though. So can the snow thing hold off and we just get the cold weather? Thanks. All right, we haven't covered the Steel in 3 weeks, so let's quickly breeze through some of this stuff. Back on October 26th, they were at Muskegon. The Lumberjacks took this game 4-1. Steel didn't score until the third period when it was already 3-0, so not a great effort, not a great 60-minute effort from them in that one. Friday, November 1st, the Steel picked up a win against the Green Bay Gamblers. That was 6-2 in Green Bay. That was a 1-0 lead, but by the end of the first, it was 1-1. The Steel scored 3 in the second period. Dyer had 1, which brings his goal total to 5 on the season. And then that was 5 straight games with power play goals for the Steel. So they were hot going into November. However, on November 2nd, that was actually 2000's night, and a 25th season poster giveaway versus Green Bay. The Steel were held off the board during the man advantage, ending their power play streak at 5 consecutive games. And then the Green Bay Gamblers also took home the win in this one. They fought back. Moments later, this game would go to the Gamblers as they take a 3-2 lead. The Steel were able to fight and tie this thing up and take it to overtime, but at 2:30 of the extra frame, the Gamblers, they found an opening after a Steel defender fell on the ice, creating a 2-on-0. Will Zellers carried in on the right wing and whistled a snapshot under the glove of Parsons to give Green Bay the extra point in a 4-3 win. Friday, November 8th, was in Youngstown to face the Phantoms. That was a 7-2 loss. Your only goals coming from Ben Yurchuk and Ashton Schultz for the Steel. Not a great showing from this Steel team on the road, though. Saturday, November 9th, they were still in Youngstown. That was a 5-4 loss in overtime. So you had goals from Tobias Omen, Colin Sisson, and Will Tomko, but it just wasn't enough as they don't get the extra tally in overtime and fall 5-4. They were already trailing from the end of the first period as well in that one, so not great. Last Friday night was sensory-friendly night to face the Lincoln Stars, but there was nothing friendly about what happened on the ice. That was a
1 minute remaining in the period.
That was a 7-0 loss to the Stars. You really know how to get to me, huh? Yeah. Ouch. 7-0. Gotta go. That's not great. Last Saturday night was that was 11-16. That was a Stanley Cup night, but not the Stanley Cup that you're thinking. There was those tumbler-style Stanley Cups, so ha. That was an 8-5 loss. That's tough.
Brought to you by Stanley.
And then last night, November 22nd, that was against the Des Moines Buccaneers in Iowa. That was a 6-3 loss. Henry Major and Colin Sisson had 2 goals, but Luca Cloutier makes 32 saves, and the Steel still don't get the job done. They have now given up 39 goals in the month of November. That's a span of 7 games. That is a 5.57 goals against average. Chicago is 1-4-2 during that time. Well, the upcoming games, that is tonight, Saturday, November 23rd, at Cedar Rapids to face the Rough Riders at 7:05 p.m. And then Wednesday, the 27th, a weird Wednesday game, 7:05 at the Resch Center to face the Green Bay Gamblers once again. And then next Saturday, after another episode here on the Rise, that is a 6:05 start at home, finally back home again against the Madison Capitals. That will be a full team autograph night.
Sweet.
Nice, I got through all of our hockey.
That was pretty impressive. I'm not going to lie. That was pretty impressive. I was a little bit in doubt. So you are listening to On the Rise on AM 1410 WRMN. Coming up next will be the one, the only Tony T. Lopez.
He's
from
parking.
The Parlay. And then at the bottom of the hour, we have a new guest to the show, Dustin Lingaman of the Fake Football Guys. Up next.
Thanks for listening to WRMN 1410. Don't forget to join us every day for our Comfort Keepers feature. Comfort Keepers is a leading provider of in-home non-medical care for seniors and other adults in need of assistance with daily activities. Again, listen daily at 7:25 a.m. for our Comfort Keepers feature. And thanks for listening.
El Diablo Cantina, located by Spring Hill Mall at 113 Southwestern in Carpentersville, is your fun, hip, and festive family Mexican cantina, serving authentic recipes from all over Mexico that are made fresh daily. There's delicious cocktails using fresh fruits or your choice of 30 craft beers, which go great with the menu. There's indoor and outdoor dining, open from 4 till 11 and until 4 a.m. on weekends, featuring Latin line dancing. Visit eldiablocantina.com today.
Your hometown radio station since 1949. We are WRMN AM 1410, Elgin time, 9 o'clock.
And you are listening to AM 1410 WRMN. I'm your host, Derrick Geyer, alongside Mike Napolitano. And in studio, we've got Tony Tilo Lopez of The Parlay.
What up? What up?
Give me a second, T.
Parlay with your hosts, Kendall Gill and Tilo.
What up, y'all? Tilo here for The Parlay, alongside my guy who takes 3-month vacations from the show. I don't know why, but he does. Mr. Kendall Gill himself, a 15-year NBA veteran, of course, former professional boxer.
Why you do me like that?
I don't know, man. I got to, bro. You know?
But listen, I don't take 3 months vacations. You know I'm busy.
2.5.
I've got kids. You don't have kids.
True. I mean, it's not like you do have a kid that's going, play D1 basketball at Northwestern, and
I got a golfer. You know how long that takes.
Golfer who's killing the game, looking like Tiger Woods. I get it.
And I got a wife that's selfish too, man.
Oh, well then,
See,
you know what?
You don't have any of these things.
The wife one cancels everything I just said.
Okay.
I
mean, Jake Paul really has nothing to lose, you know?
He doesn't.
Yeah,
he doesn't have nothing to lose?
If he loses to Mike Tyson, it's Mike Tyson.
I beg to differ. I think he has a lot to lose. He has a lot of cachet to lose, losing to an older man, and then he will literally get discredited in the sport of boxing if he loses.
Welcome back to The Parlay, and in studio, as I mentioned, Tony Tilo Lopez. How the hell you doing, Tony?
Doing good.
Tilo, sorry, don't call you Tony.
You can call me whatever you want. You have the privilege.
I have the privilege.
You got the privilege.
Okay, Anthony.
That is twice now on this show that we've heard the Kendall Gill clip saying that his wife is selfish. We're gonna get him in trouble.
Yeah. Sorry, KG.
Yeah.
If you're listening. I'm sorry.
Well, welcome to On the Rise.
Yes.
It's officially your first time here, but we have you doing our bumps every week. So
cool.
The fans have already heard your voice. They should be comfortable with you already.
Yeah.
But they don't have the blessing of your boxing knowledge. And we just kind of recapped the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight. I was there with you in person. Of course, your thoughts on that and really what it means for the sport of boxing.
For sure. First of all, I want to say congrats to you both. Love this a lot. This is awesome. Second, thanks for the intro. That was nice put together. Yeah, very very Hispanic and Latin with your music, man. I was feeling it.
I was wondering if you'd actually get that.
Oh man,
I
please.
put that in especially for you.
Come on, man. Well, you know I do know that. And yeah, just lastly, being up this early on a Saturday morning, I love you too. All right, man.
Yeah,
so
when you're texting me at like 1 o'clock in the morning, hey, where's the address? What's the address of it? And I just so happened to actually look at my phone because the cat is just going absolutely ape shiatsu in the bedroom last night.
Yeah.
I will say, we get texts from you periodically throughout other shows. So you're up listening to us.
Very good.
Maybe you're not up moving around, though, on a Saturday morning.
You get some, for sure.
Tilo, he needs his sports news in the morning. So
That's
he's
right.
tuning in to On the Rise like you should be.
On the rise. Anyway, just wanted to say all that. You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
To answer your question, last week's event on Saturday was interesting. Friday. So that's right. It was Friday night. Yeah, because they did it on Friday. Look at that. But it was interesting. I think, first of all, very successful, over 60 million streams, as you saw. Record number of streams for a boxing event ever. Right?
Crashed it.
Right, crashed Netflix. And so Netflix really does have to find out what they're going to do and fix that because WWE's coming on very soon. And Raw.
And don't they have a couple NFL games already lined up?
I'm not sure.
I think it was a Christmas game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I believe so.
I think maybe it is. Yeah, I don't know that
imagine an NFL game crashing? People would lose their minds.
Oh no, yeah, they'd go stupid. It'd be bad.
I mean, talking about losing our minds. I mean, that fight was kind of dog shiatsu, wasn't it?
Yeah, for sure. If we're talking about the main event with Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, there was talks about it being a fake fight. There was talks about it being a real fight. There was talks about whether Mike really did have the ability to last all 8 rounds and so forth. And basically, and again, this is my opinion, right? Everybody has different opinions, but what I saw and what I confirmed at first when we did the reaction on the Parlay podcast with Kendall Gill and myself, we said the words Father Time You know, the term father
definitely.
time. It was like Father Time was there. He looked old. His legs weren't there.
Yeah.
Tyson didn't seem obviously like himself. Rightly so. Like he's 57. Like let's be serious. And so, but then after rewatching the fight, thoroughly and watching things, you can see that there was a lot of holding back from Jake Paul, right? Not going off on Jake Paul. There was some instances where Mike could have thrown a left hook or a straight right, and he held back. He pulled it for a second and then just didn't do anything, and it just seemed awkward. So I'm not going to tell you guys here that the Mike Tyson Jake Paul event was scripted, or I'm sorry, rigged is the word I want to use. It was rigged, but I will tell you that there had to be something in place where they told each other, "Look, we're about to make a bag.
Yeah,
let's last 8 rounds.
Yeah,
and let's get the hell out of here." Like, you know what I mean? It had that feeling after you rewatched it. But I will tell you that there was some competitiveness in it. Like I'm the first 2 rounds, if you saw it.
Yeah.
Mike, he attacked. He landed some shots on Jake Paul, and I'm sure that was going to happen. Like I'm sure they knew they were going to box each other and so forth. But there was that element of like, don't knock me out, or don't knock it. Let's not finish this, because if we do, we're not going to give the fans what they want, which is a long fight.
Right.
That's how I felt.
The question that I did have, Mike did land a shot to Paul's jaw, that one. It was either it was a left hook. Okay.
That was in the second round? Or was that in the
I think it was a second or third round. It was okay. Yeah, one of those.
Because I know the only 2 rounds that Mike took were the first 2.
Yeah.
But then Jake Paul goes ahead and, starts wagging his tongue and all that. Like, what were your thoughts on that? Because, I mean, that actually looked like a decent shot. And then Paul actually had, 1 or 2 good shots where it looked like Mike Tyson's face was wrapping around his glove.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. There was an element of competitiveness, right?
Okay.
It was going to be there. I don't think that Jake took it. I'm sure he got stunned a bit and was like, oh, okay. Like, I see you. You saw the tongue coming out. And so you can't, I don't know how to put this, but you can't sell a fight while you're fighting,
right?
And not have some sort of
theatrics.
Yeah, you have to do stuff like that.
I mean, it is Jake Paul.
It is. And listen, we all can hate Jake Paul if you do, if you don't, whatever, but we can all talk about his journey and say how fake it is, how pinpoint it was, right? How what is it? He basically has planned his trajectory towards this moment, but he's doing a really good job at it, and he's making a lot of money.
Oh, as a YouTuber, TikToker, or whatever the hell you want to call him, the philanthropy, the businessman, the I don't know. There was a laundry list of things that he was calling himself as he was coming out in that god awful truck of his and his brother in the bed of it. I mean, my opinion. I mean, what do I know? I'm sitting on this, little radio show on AM 1410 WRMN on the Rise with myself, Derrick Geyer, Mike Napolitano. In studio is Tony Tilo Lopez of the Parlay. So what do I know about that?
You know a lot. I trust you.
Well,
you've seen enough. We've all been around now that we're with the Parlay, and we're getting the expertise of both Tilo and Kendall Gill, and this boxing world has opened up for myself too, and now I've been coming to some of these live shows. I've been enjoying it. I've been able to understand it a lot better than just the layman folk that are watching the fight and just seeing punches get landed. There's an art to it. There's a strategy, different in every fighter, different in every fight, and this fight, despite it being a little bit scripted, was no different. I thought the main exciting fight of the night, though, was the Serrano versus Taylor fight.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And what were your thoughts on that?
Oh, no, it was a great fight. Those two, their first fight in New York made me cry. Like, I literally shed one small tear at the end of the fight because of the action, the passion, the grit that these two women put in that squared circle. Like, it was just, they were throwing bombs, receiving them, and throwing them consistently.
It was the best fight of the night.
Yeah, and
who won the
Friday
first
night,
fight? Was that Taylor?
It was Taylor. She won by it had to be like a round,
Did Serrano get screwed?
In this fight, yes, I had to say, because even the first fight, I was like, you know what, I'm okay with the draw or Katie inching it out is fine. But this one, man, Amanda landed the most punches by a woman in history of boxing. She outlanded Katie Taylor. She was the aggressor. She I believe had the ring generalship in the fight. But you know, Katie is no chump either. She's a great counter puncher, and so she threw less punches, right? But the percentage was slightly there as well. And the biggest thing that I think took over was Katie's cut. You know, that gash in her right eyebrow,
which just expanded throughout the whole fight. Yeah, I mean, once she got the headbutt,
and it slowed her down. It slowed her down slightly.
So Katie was headbutting a lot. And you kind of broke it down for me that she is a shorter fighter.
Correct.
So when she comes underneath the punch, when she evades it and she's coming back up, you know, she's going to have that motion and maybe catch Serrano underneath. Yeah. But a lot of that was deliberate headbutting, no? To open it up?
You know, I hate to use the word deliberate. I don't think Katie, I hate to call Katie a dirty fighter because I don't think she is, but she's got to also like find, if you're a boxer, you know, you have to protect yourself at all times, right? And so I believe sometimes when in your head, she's protecting herself by going up in, right? And she is the shorter fighter, so she doesn't have that leverage, and she's going in for the hooks and for her counter punches. It's just the fact that if you've been warned, right, and she should have been warned earlier in the fight. Yeah. If you've been warned, you got to be more conscious of that later in the fight. I don't think she was being. I think she was just doing what she was doing to survive, right? Because Amanda Serrano is the bigger fighter, in my opinion. Yeah, she's the aggressor. She has the skill set to be able to stalk you down, and Katie has that skill set to counterpunch. But I think in that skill set, she also needs to be able to have that leverage, not headbutt, but push her head in to be able to get a shot in. It was not good though. She should have been deducted more points, in my opinion.
So wouldn't that be like something that the ref should have interceded in?
Oh, yes, you know. And he did once, right? But he should have done it way more. He should have set the tone. And yes, we as boxing fans don't want to see refs interrupting fights and dictating action. But when you got somebody with a gash in your right eyebrow, bro, like come on, bro. Like, and you can clearly see she got it from that, and she's continuing to do the movement. That's when things get iffy. And yeah, Amanda won that fight to me. I think I hate to use the word robbed in boxing, and I don't like the word, but really it was the wrong decision, man.
And then coming up in like 2 or 3 weight classes, right?
Yeah. For her, for Amanda. I mean, for Katie, you're talking about.
Well, I thought it was Serrano that came up.
Was Serrano fighting at the higher weight class that she wasn't used to?
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
So going forward, Jake Paul says that he is now the face of boxing.
Yeah.
I mean, we can just call it and say what it is, right? I mean, that's just a bunch of bullshit, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, you got to say stuff to be able to continue to market yourself for what you are. He's not the face of boxing without a doubt, but one thing he is doing is bringing eyes to boxing. Whether it's the boxing you want to see, whether it's the boxing you don't want to see, whatever that is, you tuned into Netflix on last Friday night. You did it.
But publicity wise, he's the face of boxing. But like, is he the face of boxing as in he is the best? No.
Yeah, absolutely not. No, I mean that's Canelo right now. That's Gervonta Davis's the Terrence Crawfords of the world. Anyway.
Sorry, Tilo. Who is he calling out at the end of the fight?
He called out Canelo. He called out Canelo at the end of the fight.
I want to see that one now.
And he'd get destroyed.
Yeah, no, he knows that too. I think, again, this is part of his strategy to just continue his marketing skills, abroad, to keep his bag full, because this is how he gets his money. This is how it is. Like, his next fight's going to be some probably big name person that's not a boxer. It's just... and
he's been doing.
Right. And
another Mike Perry.
Sure, something like that. I'm sure. And maybe sometime in his career he'll fight somebody legit, right? And it'll be towards the end of his career, and he would have made millions and maybe billions. It's just it's smart. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he can get away with in regards to this. I just feel bad for the boxers who actually do box, who make about $800 a fight when they're in the beginning of their career, right? I've seen less.
Oh my God.
I've seen boxers, matter of fact, I've seen boxers travel to different cities. They only pay for their plane ticket, their meal, and then they go home. That's it. They just go for the record. They're not getting paid for the fight itself. I've seen it.
Oh, that's amazing.
Firsthand.
I mean, that's not amazing. That's sad, really.
Yeah, it's the brutal part of the sport, right? Unless you're connected, unless you have a resume and you have a good promotional company, right? Because boxing doesn't have one commission. It's what it is. So, but Jake's doing. Jake doing his thing. One thing I'll give you props for it. I'm sorry if I'm talking too much here. Jake is, he is in the gym. He is training, and you can see him fight by fight improving. You can see him getting better. You can see his form is getting better. And so he's not cheating the sport, I think, in the aspect of training and in the gym. That is true of Jake Paul. And I respect that, Jake, you know, that you are improving and you're taking it serious when it comes to the sport itself. But, you know, when it comes to the other things, your opponents and so forth, that's where you take advantage because you got that cachet and you got that name.
Yeah, so he's pretty good for an amateur boxer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fair. Yeah.
Okay.
He's good. He's got a lot of flaws in the ring. Kendall Gill always talks about some of those flaws that he sees.
Would love to see those two go at it.
Yeah. Oh man, no, I know. Kendall said that ship has sailed, but I think if the proper purse was presented, I don't know if Kendall could deny
if there was like a $30 million incentive involved with it, you know, he'd be like, "Honey, I'm doing it. I'm sorry."
Oh yeah. Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah. Okay.
They would have. I mean, they would have no choice.
Yeah. Exactly.
KG better train his booty off.
So, what else is going on with the parlay, Tilo?
Man, the parlay right now in 2025, we actually, if you don't know what that is, it's actually I have it on my sweater here. It's a boxing podcast with Kendall Gill and myself. We cover Chicago sports.
Yep.
Chicago boxing. Sorry, and it's boxers in itself because we feel like the city of Chicago and boxing, people around the nation don't really think that there's a boxing community here, and it is huge.
Yes.
And so that's my job. One of my goals is to put that on the forefront and spotlight it. But what's coming up in 2025 for the parlay is a lot more. It's going to be, we're working with Unanimous Boxing, Unanimous Management in the city of Chicago. They have a stable of boxers who are doing their thing, and our job is to cover them. A big event coming up here, and the Rosemont Rumble in Rosemont on Friday, November 20. What is that? The 29th.
Yeah.
Where they're having their event, and so we'll be there covering the boxers.
Nice.
But in 2025, our goal is to continue to Chicago cover Chicago boxers, and also travel to these pay-per-view events like we used to do pre-COVID, where we used to cover the big fights. We're in Dallas for Mikey Garcia and Errol Spence. Was in New York for Anthony Joshua and Andy Rees, that huge upset in boxing, the biggest one since Mike Tyson lost. And so, yeah, we're going to be traveling a little bit, get our credentials in and cover these fights. But boxing, Chicago, Kendall Gill, Tilo, this is what we do. We love the sport, and we think it's important to spotlight these Chicago people because they don't get the credit they deserve, in my opinion.
Well, so you've got the Rosemont Rumble coming up. Of course, I know you guys are pushing for some kind of big event here in Chicago to happen. Of course, I don't think anybody else is really leading the way other than your network, not just the parlay, but Squared Circle and Unanimous Boxing, you said. And so,
by the way, shout out to Z and Alex. I know I was going to shut them out later, but Alex from Squared Circle Report, our correspondent for the parlay, he is a beast. You got to check him out. Look up Squared Circle Report. Alex Correa, yep. And Z from Chicago Fight Night, who, by the way, he was the reason why we had that watch party last week.
Right.
And he has connections to like almost every bar and restaurant here in the city of Chicago. So he is awesome. But I know they're on. But there's your shout outs, guys. I was going to do them later. But they're a huge part of the boxing community in the city of Chicago.
Quick question. Do you know an Anita Lopez?
I do know an Anita Lopez. This is my aunt.
That's your aunt?
Yeah.
Well, she says hi.
Oh, what's up, auntie? I see you. She's in Michigan. I got a Michigan listener, man.
All right.
Oh, that's awesome.
We had an Australia listener our first week. Which is crazy.
Nice.
Derrick.
Good eye, mate.
Yeah.
Good eye, mate.
So,
Puerto Rican trying really hard to do that accent.
Pretty good, actually.
Thank you.
But so for Chicago, of course, you guys are at the forefront pushing for an event to happen here rather than, the Vegas or the New York or whatever.
Yeah.
Nothing, of course, yet, but hopefully maybe in the next coming years.
Yeah, man. It's a lot of work that needs to be done. And so I'm going to be working with a couple people. I have some connections made with Jennifer Sanchez, who, by the way, is also tuned in. She gave me a connection with somebody who has rings, right? Squared circles, and also my boy Carlos, who's an entrepreneur, and we call him the king of podcasting in Chicago. Carlos, shout out to you. I'll get his information in a second. But the goal is to have an event. We're trying to see if we can attract a high top end promoter if we don't become one, right? That's another game right there. Like, you have to have
big goals for 2025.
Yeah, for sure. But we want to definitely do something big. We want to have an event here. PBC, one of the big guys, Golden Boy, Premier Boxing Champions. Somebody come to the city of Chicago. Let's fix this tax situation that you're worried about, and understand that there's an audience here, man. You can fill the United Center. You can fill the Allstate Arena to the brim. If you bring in big names to the city of Chicago.
Well, hell, nothing against the city of Chicago, but I mean, why not bring it out to the downtown Elgin area? I'm sure there's multiple places where we could hold a big fighting event.
You gotta have stuff around the arena. You gotta have. I get it. There's a lot of things that need to happen, but it can be done. It can be done. They've had it before. The Allstate Arena used to have David Diaz. Fill out that arena.
Oh, way back in the day.
And yeah, those fights were awesome. So but that's the goal, Mike. Is definitely get something huge in the city of Chicago that is boxing. For a boxing event of some way, shape, or form. And I just hope that what we can do coming up is just continue to spotlight Chicago.
I was just at the Allstate Arena on Tuesday for the Shoresy Fall Classic. If you're not familiar, Shoresy is a Canadian TV show.
And you hung out with Chris Chelios?
It's a spin. I may have hung out with Chris Chelios.
You said hi to him?
I said hi to Chris Chelios. We hung out mostly with Scott Darling and then the whole cast of Shoresy.
Did you get anything on tape with that?
I got a bunch of videos, but they were in the arena, so it's not great audio quality. But we will be having. I'm looking at Dean. I'm looking at Dean here at WRMN because we will be talking in the future to a certain anthem singer about this event and everything that he does at the Allstate Arena. But what I was going to say to that,
there's a tease.
Yeah. I'm putting him on the hot seat right now without even talking to him. We're going to make this happen.
Come on, Dean.
But I will say, Shoresy, this Shoresy versus the Blackhawks alumni game, I got to see my cousin Tim Stapleton, but this covered the entire lower bowl full of people, so you could easily sell out a big name boxing event. Not only if a Canadian TV show can sell out the 100 level, along with, of course, the Blackhawks alumni, then you could probably sell the entire arena with a boxing event that's big enough.
Yeah, no, I think like I said, there is people. There are people here, right? It's just getting the people together and connecting dots, connecting relationships, right? In the sport of boxing, unfortunately, this is not only here, but this is in all the nation. The boxing community can be divided on so many different things. It could be, honestly, it's like politics. You know what I mean? Like,